We have 4,000 transfer students this year alone in TAPS. Out of 40,000, 1 in 10 transfer.
Well, I'll back up to one of the guiding principles of the UIL is the attendance zone. We think it's an important aspect of who we are, is that we are community schools.
The 46th Annual Texas High School Athletic Directors Association meetings taking place here in Waco. Now, of course, both public and private schools are involved here at the THSADA event. One of the big hot topics, education and also finance reform.
For the most part, the way our Constitution is written, you have to be receiving no federal or state funding to help students attend that school.
Public school, public education has been kind of our support system, and our membership is made up roughly of 99.9% public schools. Bryan's different. The private schools have their own association, and we're lucky in our state that they have enough schools to have their own association. All the other states have problems because of the mix between private and public, and the private schools winning most of the state championships, even though they represent only a small portion of the total membership. So I'm glad that we're going to be able to share our philosophies and talk about the differences and talk about the similarities as well.
The UIL and TAPS have had a great relationship. We're one of the few states where it works. We have a population base of private schools that is big enough for us to have our own association. There are definitely differences in student population, whether it be an attendance zone, whether it be the size of the school, whether it be the focus of the school. So having that opportunity for Charles and I to stand up there together and indicating that high school athletics is in a pretty good place, we just need to nurture it a little harder and move us forward.
I think a lot of the challenges that we have are not only in the public schools, but in the private schools. But I think the emphasis and the good thing about it is that we are working together.
You know, everybody respects each other. There's reasons that coaches are coaching in the private school area, and there's reasons that we have our public school coaches, and so it's a good thing for everybody to share their different perspectives and different challenges.
Well, I think we should work together. I think we all want the same thing, the best for our students, and I think if we understand that we're not really going against each other, we're all looking for the same outlook, that we can work together and have a great outcome with all of the students.
You want to make sure that you have the things that the kids need, and then you go from there.
From policies and procedures,
we're providing a tool to help coaches complete their RCPs, the Rules Compliance Program, education of coaches through the UIL.
Club teams to Title IX.
We are getting crazy about all sports. I think you see the emphasis now, not only football, but you see it in basketball, you see it in volleyball, you see it in swimming, tennis, track, all the other sports. I think that we're picking up an audience where everybody enjoys it, and we're picking up athletes where their parents invested in it, and it's important that we are successful in all the other sports too.
Over the years, it's grown, and people are seeing the opportunity that women can help bring a balanced athletic program around.
To brands and social media, just some of the topics discussed, but health and safety is always a priority for the THSADA.
Well, administrators have their hands full administrating, and what the problem is they don't have a whole lot of time looking at turf injuries or artificial surfaces, but they have to make valuable decisions on which field they're going to select, and with that, they're going to be living with this field for 8 to 10 years.
We look at this as a market that has made some progress since the early days in the 70s with the original AstroTurf, but it's not done yet. There's a lot of new knowledge about brain injuries and kids and how susceptible they are to concussions, and a lot of new data about the incidence of concussions with the head hitting the surface. It's actually much more prevalent than most people think.
I'm a pad guy, I'm a safety guy, you know, so I treat my business like I treat my family and friends. We should always be safe. Football needs a pad, lacrosse needs a pad, soccer needs a pad. We're standing up when we have an opportunity to remind the athletic directors that safety is important and we should buy a pad.
Baylor head football coach Matt Rule was the keynote speaker. He's a believer in knowing someone's why and gave advice to getting to know your players and staff.
Anytime you want to know what someone's really about, you have to know why they do what they do. And I think for us, everyone wants to win championships, everyone wants to win games, but there are real reason for being in coaching and for being here at Baylor is to try to build great men, to build a great football program and a great team.
A win-win for athletic directors in Waco.
Since I've been the executive director, it's been the largest conference that we've had, and I truly believe it's probably the largest one the association has ever had. We had 400 plus attendees, probably our best overall conference, and that included the professional development topics too. They were all very good. Trade show is interesting the way we do it. We do it so much different than everybody else because we don't open during the day, but we allow our exhibitors to mix and mingle with our attendees during the day. Come to the professional development sessions, go have lunch with them, mix in the lobby. but we only open the trade show in the evening. So all the ADs are committed to their professional development classes during the day.
Well, it's good to be out here, kind of getting feet wet. As you can see, we're here with Coaches Connect. What we are is an online platform, community for teachers and coaches and administrators to connect, interact, socialize.
Larger stadium systems that are coming out, video display systems. It's important to get in front of them, to think about things ahead of time. It's more than just thinking about today, it's thinking about that 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan with that stadium.
In sports lighting specifically is the technologies that you can use. Now you have two choices. One, you have the LED, which everybody's familiar with, but it's not always applicable to every situation. Before we were using metal halide.
Athletic directors really need to become politicians, so to speak. They've got to fight for their dollars and their programs. So athletics is part of education, just as much as education. It's a huge piece of it. And so today, it's kind of nice to talk about really the business side of things versus just, let's call it X's and O's.
Well, we're always happy to be here. These are my customers, right? So as the largest sports contractor in the state of Texas, supported by these very gentlemen and ladies in the room today. So, we're happy to help them have a really nice conference and to continue education, these are all about continuing education for them, and we're happy to provide some dollars to make that go.
With all the new construction that's going on and renovations that are going on in facilities, those are very, very important topics.
Yeah, it's about preparing like a champion in everything you do, not just on the athletic field, but in the classroom, socially, with your mom and dad, with your brothers and sisters, and that was the message I was trying to share.
Jeff Power High School Spotlight.
Gridiron Warriors take the field in an epic battle that is larger than life. It is called Texas High School Football. Only one show can bring the greatest sport from the greatest state into focus. Lone Star Gridiron.